Welcome to this episode of the collaboration between Arcades Digital and Dukascoin. Today, we're going to talk about the Metaverse. What is it? What does it mean for you? And I can tell you it's one of the hottest topics in crypto right now. You may have heard that Facebook actually changed its name to Meta. And that's a clear reference, you can see it up here, that's a clear reference to the Metaverse. Facebook really decided that they are a Metaverse company right now. The concept of the Metaverse isn't all that new. It's actually been mentioned in literature, even in a novel from 1992 by Neil Stephenson, and where the author actually describes a Metaverse pretty accurately. And if you want to have a look at that book, it's worth it because you're going to see a lot of the parallels here. Some of you may be familiar with the movie Ready Player One, which also depicts a metaverse, and actually is a good example of two of the convergences we're going to talk about today, which is the gaming world on one side and the metaverse virtual worlds on the other. Today, these visions of a metaverse are actually becoming a reality, and today we're looking at how this is happening and what's going into this mix of what we are calling a metaverse and why we're calling a metaverse today and what's different from other online experiences in the past. So I want to make two remarks actually regarding the metaverse. And one is this has been around for a while in the sense that we have actually transferred already a lot of our interactions into social or other networks already. So it is not completely new that we're interacting in a cyber world. Maybe what's different now is this coherent interaction into a continuous world. The second remark I want to make, and I'll show you this real quick, is that those meta worlds or metaverses today aren't really yet completely, as you can see here, this is one of the examples, they're not completely super fluid, high resolution graphics. So it's not as hyper-realistic world yet, but it kind of reminds you a little bit of a gaming universe, which it kind of is as well. In fact, you may know these kinds of graphics from games. You may know it from Second Life, from other cyber online worlds that you already know from the past. Other examples include Farmville that you may know from Facebook already, so a precursor as well here, or Grand Theft Auto, or one of my favorites, EVE Online, which I think provides a really good general idea of a big world with multiplayer interactions, with a logic to it, with an economy to it. And this is kind of where we also start transitioning now into the new notion of a metaverse. So as we can see, the concept per se isn't new, but what is new? What is different in a metaverse today from a metaverse of the past? First of all, we're talking about convergence. Several technologies are actually converging. Adoption of those technologies are converging, and this is what makes the difference here. Let me just quickly go into those different technologies. First of all, we have high resolution graphics, we have faster online speeds, fiber optics, 5G connectivity that actually makes it possible to transmit and to create fluid experiences of online games and online worlds. The second one is hardware. We need to run these things onto high performance graphics processors, and they're actually being rolled out now. Companies like NVIDIA are creating the hardware and the software stacks on top of this hardware to actually make this all possible. Other software companies are creating currently or have created the software that's necessary to build those worlds. And finally, we also have the virtual reality headsets that are coming online now, or they're being sold now, and they will also help us to transition into those virtual worlds much, much more. It is not an accident that Facebook has already bought VR headset provider Oculus, if you think about their vision of a metaverse and the convergence there. What's also really important is user adoption. The users from 20 years ago aren't the same users as the users today. What's the difference? Well, back in the day, you had people, I guess like myself, growing up more or less with the internet and the World Wide Web experience. But today, the generations that are making the decisions are the consumers or coming into the consumer space of those kinds of technologies are people who grew up with gaming. They are absolutely familiar with online worlds. They're absolutely familiar with trading, with collecting items in virtual worlds, and this does not feel like some kind of a hurdle or something unnatural. In fact, it's very natural indeed. The most important technology, however, that changes the view or the usage of metaverses today versus before is the use of crypto, specifically NFTs. NFTs allow to trade and to exchange value and goods, digital goods in those metaverses, whether it's gaming or metaverse like Decentraland. Let me show you quickly how this looks like. If we're going from Decentraland's intro here or trailer into its marketplace, you can see a couple of things, namely, well, this is seasonally appropriate for now. You can buy those items. These are clothing items for your avatar, but you can also buy land. You can buy all sorts of items that are native to this universe and are useful within Decentraland. So the point is that you can purchase your particular items by purchasing those NFTs. So NFTs are the carrier tokens for value and ownership in Decentraland and other metaverses, including also games. Here's another example of an online game / metaverse, the Sandbox. This is at the time of recording. This is this is just in its alpha release, so people are invited to try that out, but it's the same principle, right? So what you have here is assets. Here we're going to OpenSea, and if you remember our episode on NFTs, you are pretty familiar with the concept, I suppose, but you can see these are Sandbox metaverse items that you can purchase here on OpenSea with your crypto. So what you can see here is basically items from the Sandbox that are available on OpenSea, and if you're clicking on one of those, you can see these are the items then individually for sale. You can buy them either even by credit card these days, which then will convert into crypto, and so you are entering the crypto universe in any case. And for the fees, that's a different story. But in any case, this is a crypto. This is Ethereum here. You can see this thing is $78 at this point, but you will then own a little rabbit that lives in the Sandbox. And as I said before, this is quite a natural occurrence for a generation that grew up with games and gaming. And you will also notice in many investment contexts, people are in a crypto world, people are starting to invest in NFTs because these can actually appreciate quite well in value. I don't know about this particular rabbit, but there is a whole science and art to investing in NFTs. So in terms of adoption as well, let's have a look at the numbers here, or at the curve. Actually, if you look at the price of the native token of Sandbox, the Sandbox, which is called Sand appropriately, you see the one-day intraday chart, not so exciting. But if you look at what happened across the year, you see that this is massively spiking here right now, and so adoption actually has massively increased. The same is true for other such universes or metaverses, such as Sandbox, but also games that are relying on the same type of technology, like play-to-earn games like Axie Infinity, for instance, which we'll talk about in a different episode. So to sum up, the most important development technologically in those online worlds that really coins or makes the term metaverse what it is today is the use of crypto assets, cryptocurrencies that help us to actually transmit, conserve value and ownership in those worlds. And I'm going to end on showing a little bit what the land looks like here. And you can see very much a parallel to the real world. The inner circle here is being praised as being close to the main roads. And just as in the real world, we have real estate that's close to infrastructure that is more valuable than others. And so what we already see is real estate agencies actually popping up in those worlds. And we have galleries and shops and casinos here. We will do a deeper dive into the metaverses at a future place and show you a little bit how this looks like, and actually do some transactions there. But for now, I hope you had a good start into the metaverse, this very short history of the metaverse, and we'll see you in the next episode very, very soon.